Have you ever stared at your birth year and wondered if it meant something deeper, something ancient, spiritual, even cosmic? Most people know their zodiac sign or birthstone, but what if the last digit of your birth year held a sacred message just for you? What if, through the lens of timeless Buddhist wisdom, we could unlock a truth about your life path, personality, and even your karma? In Buddhism, everything is connected. Numbers, symbols, seasons, they all carry energy, vibrations, and deeper truths. The number at the end of your birth year isn't random. It carries a frequency that aligns with one of the most powerful aspects of Buddhist philosophy, your path toward awakening. Whether you were born in 1990, 2001, 1975, or 1988, the final digit reveals a spiritual code hidden in plain sight. This is not just numerology. This is a journey into your dharma, your inner truth. Each number from 0 to 9 connects to a powerful Buddhist principle. From the cycles of rebirth and the illusion of self, to the pursuit of enlightenment and freedom from suffering. And here's the twist. You won't just discover what your number means. You'll learn how to use that insight to transform your life. This video is not just entertaining, it's empowering. Whether you're a spiritual seeker, a curious skeptic, or just someone looking for a little guidance, you'll walk away with something meaningful. And the best part? You'll see yourself more clearly, and you'll never look at your birth year the same way again. So which number is your secret teacher? Watch closely, because the answer might just shock you. Digit 0. The eternal cycle. If the last digit of your birth year is 0, you were born under the vibration of the void, the circle, the infinite loop. In Buddhist philosophy, this is deeply symbolic. It represents samsara, the continuous cycle of birth, death, and rebirth. It's not just a number. It's a reminder that life is a wheel constantly turning, and your soul is traveling through many lifetimes seeking liberation. Those born with the number 0 are spiritually encoded with a powerful lesson. Everything is impermanent, but nothing is lost. Just as the circle has no beginning and no end, your journey is not linear. You may often feel like you're repeating certain patterns or facing the same emotional or spiritual challenges in different forms. This isn't a flaw. It's a sign. It means you are being invited, life after life, to master the lessons you came here to learn. Buddha taught that liberation comes not from escaping the cycle, but from understanding it. If you were born under 0, your path is to become the observer of the cycle, not just the participant. Through meditation, mindfulness, and compassion, you begin to see your attachments, your desires, and your fears. And when you see them clearly, you are no longer controlled by them. The 0 also resonates with shunyata, the Buddhist concept of emptiness. But don't misunderstand, emptiness in Buddhism isn't nothingness. It's the freedom from false identity. It's the open sky of your consciousness. It's the potential for anything to arise. Those born under 0 often feel a calling to break away from societal norms or ego-based definitions of success. That's because your soul knows that what is eternal cannot be named, bought, or possessed. You are not here to cling. You are here to flow. You may feel like an old soul. You've likely been through many transformations, and while others may fear change, you sense the truth. Change is the only constant, and in that truth there is peace. So if your birth year ends in 0, you are a spiritual traveler, looping, learning, evolving. Your greatest gift? The wisdom to help others see the circle too, and walk with grace toward the center where stillness lives. Digit 1. The flame of consciousness. If the last digit of your birth year is 1, you carry the sacred energy of awakening, the spark of individuality, and the beginning of conscious awareness. In Buddhism, the number 1 is symbolic of the arising of self-awareness, the moment the flame is lit in the darkness. It is the first step on the spiritual path, and for you, that path starts with understanding the self. You were likely born with a strong sense of identity, or at least a deep questioning of who you really are. This is no accident. The number 1 is about the ego, not as something negative, but as a tool to be understood and transcended. Buddha taught that clinging to the idea of a permanent self leads to suffering, but he also knew that before we can dissolve the ego, we must first see it clearly. Your challenge and your gift lie in the same place: awareness. You are here to ignite the flame of mindfulness, not just in yourself, but in others. People with this number often feel called to lead, inspire, or break new ground. Why? Because the number 1 is the pioneer, the first mover. But in Buddhist terms, your journey is not about conquest, it's about clarity. You may feel driven to find your purpose, your truth, your voice. And in doing so, you bump up against illusions, the illusion of separateness, the illusion of control. But every time life humbles you, strips you down, or challenges your beliefs, it's actually doing something sacred. It's inviting you to wake up. In Buddhist practice, the flame is also used to symbolize the light of wisdom. Just as a single candle can light 1,000 others without losing its glow, your awareness can become a beacon. But it starts with inner work, meditation, introspection, presence. You're not here to dominate the world. You're here to light it up from within. So if your birth year ends in 1, don't shy away from your inner fire. Learn to tend it, to guide it, and to trust it. Your life is a burning question, and every moment of awareness is an answer. Digit 2, the path of duality. If your birth year ends in 2, you are walking the sacred path of duality and balance. In Buddhist philosophy, life is made up of pairs: light and dark, joy and suffering, attachment and aversion. The number 2 doesn't just symbolize difference. It symbolizes the tension between opposites and the profound spiritual growth that comes from learning how to walk the middle line between them. People born under this number are often highly sensitive to contrast. You may experience extreme emotions, intense relationships, or deep internal conflicts. But here's the truth. You were never meant to choose one side over the other. You were born to harmonize them. The Buddha taught the middle way. Not indulgence, not denial, but the balanced path between extremes. This teaching is especially alive in those whose number is 2. Your spiritual lesson is about non-attachment. It's easy in this life to be pulled toward what we desire and run from what we fear. But the number 2 reminds us that both craving and aversion are traps. You may notice a pattern in your life. When you get too attached to someone, something, or an idea, life eventually forces you to let it go. This isn't punishment. It's wisdom in disguise. You are naturally empathetic, often torn between wanting to help others and needing to protect your own peace. That's the duality you must navigate. Buddhism teaches us to act from compassion without attachment, to care, but not cling, to serve, but not lose ourselves. This is the dance of 2, the sacred balance of self and other. People with this digit often feel like bridges. You bring people together. You understand different sides of a situation. You may even feel like you live in 2 worlds at once, material and spiritual, logical and emotional. Instead of seeing this as confusion, see it as your unique spiritual gift. You hold the key to integration. Meditation will be especially powerful for you, not just as a practice, but as a lifestyle. It allows you to see both sides of reality and then rest in the stillness between them. If your birth year ends in 2, your soul came here to balance the opposites and walk the sacred middle path. Embrace that role. It's a powerful one. Digit 3. The power of the middle way. If your birth year ends in 3, you are aligned with one of the most profound principles in Buddhism, the middle way. But it's more than just a concept. It's a way of living that threads through your personality, your life lessons, and your spiritual calling. The number 3 in Buddhist symbolism also represents the 3 jewels: the Buddha, the awakened one, the Dharma, the teachings, and the Sangha, the community. These form the foundation of the path to liberation, and for you they reflect a deep inner blueprint. You are someone who seeks truth beyond extremes. People born under this digit often find themselves caught between opposing forces, between doing too much and doing too little, between spiritual discipline and worldly temptation, between isolation and connection. But here's the gift. Your soul knows that real wisdom lives between those extremes. The Buddha himself discovered enlightenment not through luxury or self-denial, but by walking the middle way, a life of moderation, mindfulness, and deep inner balance. You may feel like a seeker, someone constantly drawn to meaning, curious about different paths, but not fully tied to any one of them. That's because you're wired to find your own path, rooted in balance, clarity, and harmony. And once you find it, you naturally help others discover theirs. You're a guide, even if you don't realize it yet. The energy of 3 is also deeply creative. You may be artistic, expressive, or gifted with words, not just for entertainment, but as a way to translate spiritual truths into everyday life. That is your dharma, to show that enlightenment isn't some faraway goal. It's in how you treat others, how you eat, how you breathe, how you pause. If your life has felt chaotic at times, it may be because you're learning not just to survive, but to refine. Buddhism teaches that enlightenment is not the escape from life. It's the mastery of it. The number 3 calls you to rise above confusion and find that centered clarity, the golden thread through all things. So if your birth year ends in 3, remember, you are a child of the middle way. Your power is in your balance, your insight, and your ability to live the sacred in the simple. Digit 4. The foundation of truth. For those whose birth year ends in the number 4, there exists a powerful and profound connection to the 4 noble truths, the very heart of the Buddha's teachings. These 4 timeless insights are not merely philosophical ideas, but spiritual laws that reflect the reality of the human condition. If this is your number, it means your life journey is closely aligned with the quest for truth, clarity, and liberation through deep self-understanding. The 4 noble truths begin with the recognition that suffering is an inescapable part of life. This doesn't mean life is bleak or hopeless. Rather, it calls attention to the fact that everything we cling to, pleasure, people, possessions, identity, is impermanent. Those born under the digit 4 often feel this truth early in life. You may have experienced emotional pain, loss, or inner struggle not as punishment, but as a spiritual initiation. The suffering you endure is your first teacher, and it opens the doorway to compassion. The second, noble truth reveals that suffering has a cause: attachment, desire, and ignorance. Here lies your soul's challenge. You are naturally introspective and tend to question the root of things. Why does this hurt? Why do I feel empty? Why do people repeat toxic patterns? These are not random musings, they're part of your spiritual coding. You are meant to investigate suffering at its source, to look within, and to dismantle illusions layer by layer. The 3rd and 4th noble truths bring hope and direction. They declare that freedom from suffering is possible, and that this freedom comes by walking the noble 8-fold path, a life of right view, right action, right speech, and more. If your number is 4, you are not just meant to understand these truths, you're meant to embody them. Your life becomes your teaching. Your presence becomes a stabilizing force in a chaotic world. You may not be loud or flashy, but you possess a quiet, unwavering strength. Like the four legs of a sturdy table, you bring structure, support, and balance. You are naturally drawn to systems that bring order, to roles where you guide, teach, or heal. You might not even realize it, but others sense this in you. You are a foundation, and foundations hold everything up. Meditation, ethical living, and self-discipline are more than practices for you. They are pathways to peace. They help you remain grounded in truth, even as the world shifts and changes. If your birth year ends at 4, know this: your soul is here to live the truth, speak it with compassion, and help others build a life upon it. You are not just a student of the Dharma, you are a pillar of it. Digit 5. The Sense Awakener. If the last digit of your birth year is 5, you carry the energy of awareness through the senses, and your path is deeply connected to the 5 aggregates, skandhas, and the 5 senses, key teachings in Buddhism that help explain how we experience reality and ultimately how we become free from illusion. The 5 aggregates, form, sensation, perception, mental formations, and consciousness, make up what we perceive as the self. But in Buddhist teaching, none of these are permanent. They are constantly shifting, flowing, and dependent on conditions. Those born under 5 are often very in tune with their bodies, emotions, and thoughts, but also easily overwhelmed by them. Why? Because your soul came here to learn through experience, not escape from it. You may have a heightened sensitivity to your environment, sounds, colors, smells, or people's moods. While others may overlook small changes or subtle signals, you feel them intensely. This sensitivity is not a flaw, it's your gift. It invites you to develop deep mindfulness and to become fully present in every moment. The Buddhist path for you isn't about shutting down the senses, it's about using them as gateways to awareness. However, with this gift also comes a challenge: distraction. You may be easily pulled into sensory pleasure or emotional drama. The world constantly calls for your attention, but the Buddhist path teaches that true liberation lies in mastering your attention. For you, meditation is not just a calming practice. It's a discipline of perception. It helps you notice the space between stimulus and response, between sensation and reaction. Buddhism teaches that suffering arises when we cling to pleasant experiences or resist unpleasant ones. But you, with your deep connection to the sensory world, are here to transcend that clinging. You are invited to witness all experiences, pleasure, pain, comfort, discomfort, as waves on the ocean of awareness. People born under 5 are often curious, adventurous, and hungry for life. You may have a passion for learning, travel, art, or expression. These pursuits aren't just hobbies, they're paths to presence. But your deeper journey is about turning that outward exploration inward and realizing that the most profound experiences arise not from what you see, but from how you see. So, if your birth year ends at 5, your soul came here to awaken the senses, master awareness, and remind others that this very moment, felt fully and clearly, is the doorway to enlightenment. Digit 6. The Karma Code. If your birth year ends in 6, you were born under the influence of karma, the sacred law of cause and effect. In Buddhism, karma isn't punishment or reward. It's far more elegant than that. It's the natural unfolding of energy. Every thought, word, and action plants a seed, and every seed, eventually, bears fruit. If 6 is your number, your life is a living lesson in this truth. Nothing is random, and everything is connected. You may often feel like patterns repeat in your life, whether it's in relationships, health, emotions, or career. You may even sense that you're carrying the emotional weight of things you can't explain. That's because your soul is highly attuned to karmic loops, not only your own, but often those of your family, ancestors, or even collective groups. You were born to recognize these patterns and, more importantly, transform them. The number 6 in Buddhist symbolism often relates to the 6 realms of existence: gods, demigods, humans, animals, hungry ghosts, and hell beings. These realms aren't necessarily places, they're states of mind. Throughout your life, you may shift between them: the pride of the god realm, the jealousy of the demigods, the suffering of the human world, the desire of the hungry ghosts. But through mindfulness, you begin to realize these realms are not permanent. They're projections of karma, and awareness is the way out. Because you are so karmically sensitive, you're also naturally drawn to service and healing. You may feel a strong urge to make things right, to help others, or to bring peace where there has been pain. But here's your deeper spiritual calling: to stop the cycle, not just fix the symptoms. The Buddha taught that liberation comes not from reacting to karma, but from understanding it. When you act from wisdom and compassion instead of fear or habit, you begin generating new karma, karma that leads to freedom. You may have experienced setbacks that feel unfair, but these moments are not punishments. They are invitations to step into your power of conscious creation. You're not here to be a victim of karma. You're here to become a master of it. So if your birth year ends in 6, know this: your awareness is your superpower. Every mindful step you take changes the path not only for you, but for everyone who walks it after you. Digit 7, the spiritual seeker. If the last digit of your birth year is 7, you walk the path of the inner seeker. In Buddhism, this number symbolizes insight, introspection, and spiritual inquiry. It aligns with the energy of the 7 factors of enlightenment: mindfulness, investigation, energy, joy, tranquility, concentration, and equanimity. Each of these represents a stepping stone on the journey toward awakening. And for you, that journey is not optional. It's part of your spiritual DNA. Those born under 7 often feel like they don't quite fit into the material world. You may have felt out of place in your environment or deeply curious about the meaning behind things: life, suffering, death, the nature of reality. This is because your soul is driven not by surface experiences but by deep questions. You are a student of truth, even if you don't always realize it. The Buddha himself was a seeker. He left behind comfort, luxury, and even family in pursuit of something greater: liberation. If your number is 7, you carry a piece of that same fire within. It doesn't mean you have to live in a cave or abandon the world, but it does mean your fulfillment will come from understanding life, not just living it. You're likely drawn to meditation, philosophy, psychology, or ancient wisdom. But your challenge is not to get lost in thoughts or theories. Buddhism teaches that true insight arises not from overthinking, but from direct experience and awareness. You may struggle with overanalyzing or feeling disconnected. That's a sign to return to your body, your breath, the present moment. The 7 factors of enlightenment offer you a roadmap. When you're lost, start with mindfulness. Notice without judgment. Then investigate. Bring energy to your practice. Let joy arise. Rest in tranquility. Strengthen your concentration. And let that lead to equanimity, a calm, balanced mind untouched by the ups and downs of life. You may feel called to be a guide, a teacher, a mystic, or simply someone who shines light through their presence. People may come to you for advice, not because you have all the answers, but because you ask the right questions. If your birth year ends in 7, know that your path is sacred. You're here to explore what lies beneath the surface, and through your seeking, help others find their own truth. Digit 8, the infinite path. If your birth year ends at 8, your soul resonates with the energy of infinity, mastery, and inner power. In Buddhist teachings, the number 8 holds profound meaning. It represents the Noble Eightfold Path, the heart of the Buddha's guidance for a life of liberation. This path is not a set of beliefs, it's a way of being, and if 8 is your number, your life is a mirror of that sacred journey. The Noble Eightfold Path consists of right view, right intention, right speech, right action, right livelihood, right effort, right mindfulness, and right concentration. Each of these is a practice, a discipline of the mind, heart, and body. For you, the number 8 means you are naturally drawn to structure, purpose, and alignment. You are not here to float aimlessly. You are here to walk with clarity, to live with meaning, and to become whole. People with this number often face intense life lessons. You may have been tested in areas of morality, decision-making, leadership, or inner strength. This is not a punishment. It's because your soul came here to master balance. The shape of 8 itself, turned sideways, becomes the infinity symbol. That's not an accident. Your energy flows in cycles, up and down, inner and outer, spiritual and material. And your deepest lesson is this: mastery is not control, it is harmony. The Eightfold Path also teaches integration. You may be someone who seeks success, but you're also called to live ethically. You want spiritual growth, but also worldly impact. The Buddha's wisdom shows that these things aren't at odds. They only become powerful when brought into alignment. You are here to unite opposites, ambition with compassion, logic with intuition, action with stillness. You may feel a calling to lead, to build something lasting, or to inspire others. You don't just want to succeed, you want your success to mean something. That is your spiritual DNA speaking. If your birth year ends at 8, your journey is about walking the sacred path, not just for yourself, but as an example for others. Each choice you make becomes a step. Each moment of mindfulness becomes a light, and over time you don't just follow the path, you become it. Digit 9, the completion cycle. If your birth year ends at 9, you are a soul who walks with the wisdom of completion, compassion, and closure. In Buddhist symbolism, the number 9 represents the end of a cycle and the beginning of transcendence. It is a number of release, forgiveness, and universal love. People born under this digit often carry an old soul energy because they are here not to begin a new journey, but to complete one. The teachings of the Buddha emphasize impermanence. All things arise and all things pass away. For you, this truth is not theoretical. It's a lived experience. You may have gone through profound endings in your life, the death of relationships, dramatic shifts in identity, or the sense that you're constantly saying goodbye to parts of yourself. But each ending has been sacred. Each loss, a teacher. Each goodbye, a doorway. Your path is not always easy because you often carry not just your own emotional weight, but the energies of others. You may be the one in your family or community who feels everything, who holds space for everyone, who seems to know things without being told. This is because you're here to transmute karma, to help others let go, and to heal the past, not only for yourself, but for the collective. In Buddhism, the Bodhisattva is the being who delays their own final liberation in order to help others awaken. If your number is 9, you carry that same compassionate blueprint. You are here not just to escape suffering, but to ease it for others. Your energy is healing, wise, and emotionally magnetic. People are drawn to you not because you fix their problems, but because you hold space for their transformation. You're also being asked to forgive, perhaps more deeply than others. To forgive yourself, your past, and even life itself. Your soul is completing old cycles. That means releasing old attachments, outdated beliefs, and worn-out identities. Meditation and practices like loving kindness, metta, are powerful tools for you as they help open your heart and clear karmic residue. If your birth year ends at 9, you are the closer of circles, the keeper of wisdom, and the one who loves without condition. Your presence brings peace, your words bring healing, and your path is to end with grace and begin again in light. Your birth year isn't just a date on a calendar. It's a cosmic imprint, a spiritual clue, and a personal key to your deeper journey. In Buddhist thought, nothing is random. Everything arises due to causes and conditions, including the moment you entered this world. The final digit of your birth year carries a subtle vibration, a whisper of ancient wisdom. And now, you've heard its message. Whether you carry the fire of the seeker, 7, the discipline of the pathwalker, 8, or the compassion of the closer, 9, your digit reveals a layer of your purpose, a gateway to understanding your karma, your gifts, and your challenges. You now see how each number aligns with profound Buddhist teachings, from the Four Noble Truths to the Sacred Void. But this isn't just fascinating trivia, it's an invitation. You've been offered a map, a spiritual compass rooted in 2,500 years of wisdom. What you do with it is up to you. Will you walk the path of awareness? Will you use this insight to become more mindful, more compassionate, more aligned? Because here's the real truth. You are not just your number. You are the awareness reading this, the presence choosing to awaken, the light behind the form. Let your digit guide you. Let your path unfold, and let your life become a teaching, just as the Buddha's life was. If this journey opened your eyes, share it. If it spoke to your heart, comment below. And if you're ready to go deeper into spiritual wisdom that entertains and enlightens, subscribe, because this is just the beginning.